Hello. For those of you who noticed me going live a moment ago, I had some sound problems, so I'm going to go do this all again. Hello, my name is Brian Wood, Engineering Mastery Academy. This is day 2 of my training on productivity strategies. Today I'm going to be going over the prioritization matrix and how to prioritize tasks. There are two things to consider when you're looking at prioritizing things. How urgent is the task, and how important is the task? And how urgent and important the task is not necessarily what somebody has told you. I need this right now, which makes it sound very important and very urgent. It's always your job to question. It's your job to question yourself when you give yourself tasks. It's your job to question anybody else who's giving you tasks. After a while, you won't have to question other people. They'll know to come to you, letting you know why something is urgent, why it needs to be worked on, why something is so important. But in the beginning, you sort of need to train people how to communicate with you by making sure that you're always asking, why is this urgent? Why is this important? So you see on the screen there, the prioritization matrix. The idea of this is every task you have falls into one of 4 categories. It's either very urgent and very important, it's very urgent but not very important, or it's not urgent but it is very important, or it's neither urgent nor important. And based on where each task falls, you know how to prioritize your time in dealing with those tasks. If it's both urgent and important, such as a line down situation, such as if we don't get this information to the customer right away, we're going to lose a sale. Those are both urgent and important, obviously. What's not so obvious, you might say, sales might come to you and say, if we don't get this information to the customer, we're going to lose a sale. And you think, oh my gosh, this is urgent and important. But you failed to ask, well, when does the customer requiring this information? Oh, well, I need the information from you this week. Yeah, but when does the customer need it? Well, they don't need that information until next week, and then end of next week, and maybe into the next month. But I need it from you because I need to prepare things, right? So you have to have good communication skills with the people you're working with to really fully assess how urgent is something and how important is something. Some of the things to ask. Ask yourself or ask the other person. Let's scroll down here a little bit on the worksheet. Is there going to be immediate impact from what I do? This is measuring urgency. Again, something can be very important but not so urgent. Who is impacted if this is not done now? A part of this is also, what is the exact deadline? What's the real deadline? You say you need by the end of the day. When do you really need it? Oh, well, maybe it's the end of the week, right? So you always want to assess that. And then what is the impact? Sure, the person is going to be impacted if they don't have the information, but if they don't get the information, they don't get the work from you, do they have a workaround? Do they have a backup plan? And then also you want to consider the urgency to yourself, to your projects. For example, if you are getting ready to do NPI, a new product introduction into manufacturing, and somebody wants you to go look at something for sales and do something for a potential customer for some product, and you find out, well, that potential customer is the main customer for this product you're about to release. And if that customer walks, this product doesn't exist. Suddenly it becomes very important to you because your project is in jeopardy if you don't get that done. And like I said, the best way to ascertain urgency and importance, but speaking to it now, taking it as individual things, urgency and importance, they're not the same. And people get really confused sometimes when they hear something is very, very important, they hear urgent. It's very important that you know the importance of urgency and the importance of important. So, how do you decide importance? you always want to ask, what will happen if this never gets done? Again, is there a workaround? Is the sky going to fall? Or is it just going to be an annoyance for a while? You want to say, let's see, again, getting back to your own tasks. Uh, Maybe this doesn't seem so important right now, but it's important for something else. For example, maybe making a method sheet doesn't seem so important. But if you want to try to get consistent product out the door on a new product, the method sheet suddenly becomes extremely important. And then I was writing this as I was going. The important this is where urgency and importance mix a little bit together. While urgency and importance are very different things, the level of urgency can impact how important or not important something is in terms of perception. Again, we perceive something as urgent because it's important a lot of times. A lot of times we have longer term goals. We know they are very important, but we can't make them urgent because they're going to take 3 months to do anyway. So I'm going to bring up for you briefly how I use, how I use this urgency and importance to set my priorities. So in my action item list, let's get over to the main screen. Make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. This is a sample action item list. Right, I have the date that got added to the list, and I'll be going into the more details in this on this in later trainings. But I just want to bring up because this is the first place where you would record the priority of things. So you have the date added, what it affects, the category, document type, action, what the action is, the details of it. You see over here, I have a priority column. I actually typically use a number rather than high, medium, low, or later. I usually typically use a number 1 through 5 or later. Whatever works for you. But you always want to put a priority on your items because you're going to have a long list of items probably. Once you get organized and you're actually recording everything you need to do, you'll have a fairly long list of things to do. Most of us will anyway. And so it's very important to have a priority on your list. You probably already have a list somewhere, whether it's in a spreadsheet or some other type of making a list. Make sure you have a place for priority on that list. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to finish up this on this worksheet, and I'll get out some examples onto it and get it out to everybody. And I should have that out in another 30 minutes or so. So look for that posting. And until next time, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next week.